I'm going to do a weekly update. Let's start off with the dollar. See on the daily, today we had a falling star on the dollar, the 34, forming the falling star here. And it confirmed that falling star. So look for the dollar to the next few candles on the daily. On the weekly close, it crossed over the 13, so I'm looking for it to come back into support. The weekly chart coming back into the 13, creating a price pattern. See how far that gets. Price patterns do fail. Second. Computer's slow. There we go. So anyways, look for the dollar's retracement on the daily. Make a weekly low. Back and forth from here. Over the 4, back into the 34 for support. It could ride up that 8 all the way up. But we do have a falling stars, and it's confirmed now, so I'm looking for the dollar to come back down into support where the previous breaks were. S&P had a nice Friday close. Weekly close for the S&P, closing near its highs. The double tops to form on the open. Open at the same height as the previous candle. Form if it opens and then comes back in, make sure you hold 50% for momentum reasons. But it's pretty far outstretched to the upside, so I imagine it's coming back in one of these days. Hooey to me, though. It's a reflection of what's going on out there at all. Daily coming back again. That's a bearish harami. Looks like the VIX had a little pop across the 8 back into the 13. 2-bar pattern reversal. Let's see what happens with the VIX this week. See if we can get some volatility back in the market. The Dow. Now you can see it tried to reach a double top. So, and then closing a hangman. So watch out. Any confirmation. This candle. Watch out below. It's a little overextended from its averages. So I like to think that it's going to come back in to meet its 8 first. Roll for momentum. If it can consolidate up here, it's fine. Watch out for momentum to drop off the map. I believe it's way overextended. And it's been that way for a while. Screaming hyperinflation every week, closing on its near its highs for the week. Watch for those double tops on the open for the new week candle. Nasdaq looks like we had a previous high break on the weekly. Watch for a bullish retracement back into support. But it looks like it wants to keep going. And my computer's really done this without restarting. Previous breaks. Looks like it's off and running. Always look for bullish retracing back into support. It's highs on the weekly. Got to scream hyperinflation. Look how parabolic that's been. Back into support on the weekly. Let's find out where that support is. I got a 3-bar pattern now. Crude. Hit that 60 mark, coming back into support, gather its legs, and try again. Make sure you stay above support. My friend on crude crossing over the 34 back into the 34 for support. Consolidate above the 8 is fine. But it looks like a pretty nasty 3-bar pattern, so look for it to come back into support. I got a falling star on the Friday close or Thursday close. Look for watch out below on USD Japanese, the carry trade there, dollar carry trade. Looks like it's going to come back into support, reversal bar at resistance. So going to have to follow momentum on that one. Nice 2-bar pattern on the weekly. So I'm looking for just a quick and then maybe a blowout of that pattern. Gold on a weekly, hit resistance, came back into support. I got a nice little reversal bar at support. Let's get above 1300 again. Running across that pattern. Very nice close for the miners. It hit resistance, came back into support. Let's watch this open tomorrow. A confirmation on that hammer. It's not a perfect hammer. It's got a little tiny wick on top. But let's take out that reversal at 1281. Hopefully we can ride a train this week. Nice reversal. May need to come down and gather its legs again. Watch for the cross above the previous high on last week's candle, which was 1283. On the daily, got a nice little 2-bar reversal. Over the 8, closing above the 8 for the first time in a while. Opening back above the 8 for the futures open. And the inverted hammer here on the daily. Let's take that out above 1280. A lot of resistance on the way up. The rejection here at back into the 8 for an opposing point for trend. And then try for that 34 across the 1300 mark. That's where we need to be on the daily. Silver inverted hammer over the 8 into the 13. I'm looking for consolidation or a break across the 13 into the 34. Ultimately, I'm going to have to look for that opposing point to find trend. So it's coming into a nice little bottom. Let's watch for resistance, the opposing point, and then follow trend so we can get across that 34 on the daily of that 17 mark. And then 50 for a nice little booming uptrend. Nice reversal, price pattern coming off of a bottom, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, little spike down right shoulder, this thing to blow out. Let's get above 17.15. Here we got a lot of resistance on the way up. The 34, the 8 right there at 17.15 mark, upward past the 1850 range there. Breaking into the previous lows, riding up that range, we can do this. Head and shoulders complete. And a nice little right shoulder spike down. Don't know if it's over or completed yet, but looks pretty good so far. Left head, right shoulder, and let's hold that support line. Copper had a very nice high. Come back in at a lower high now. Burst of energy over the 34, back into the 34. Let's see if we can hold support. Let's see if this is our bottom pattern. Momentum there into the 34. Still working the hanging man breakdown. We have a nice little price pattern that. So now we're at 8. Those highs. $8.13. Let's see if we get rejected here. I'm thinking it's going to come back in. So we 2-bar pattern into the 8, holding previous highs. So let's stay above the previous highs for support on the weekly. Let's follow that 8 all the way up and break those previous highs. Gold silver ratio, I'm looking at a head and shoulder top on that way. The left shoulder, head. Looks like gold might be a better buy here. Silver still hanging at 75.86 ounces per 1 ounce of gold, so silver's still the better buy. Shoulders top here. I think gold is going to be the better buy. Pattern has to complete first. Watch for that neckline to break down. Let's go to miners. Miners had a good Friday close. GDX on a daily. That downward trend line came back into support. Now we're bouncing over the 8 into the 13. Look for a little consolidation and then pop across that 34 for this week. Could be nice. Let's follow that trend on up. back into support, now consolidating over the 34, popped across, came back in on the daily, on the weekly. Nice little thrust out of these things after the consolidation's over. Got a left shoulder head, right shoulder sling back, and a 2-bar pattern on the close. Just a little bit of resistance on the way up. Let's break those previous highs, break into the previous lows. GDXJ, same thing. Nice weekly closes on the miners. Nugget. So just a little bit more work on the open tomorrow. Let's see what we can do. See what pop across that resistance, no problems. JNUG's the only one that needs to get across that 34. Broke previous breaks into the 34, back into support. I got the 2-bar pattern. Inverted hammer, 2-bar pattern here. I'm looking at a bullish piercing pattern, open down for the week. Cross 50% rule of the previous candle. Got some resistance on the way up. Some kind of thrust right past that 34 and 8 all at once. It could be pretty nice. Coming across that breakdown. Through support, back through resistance. Saw on the weekly now. Into the 13, back into the 8 for support. 2-bar pattern. Nice bullish pose for the Friday close. NAK. Look for the long-term charts on NAK. Previous high breaks at 2. Looks at a little recovery. We hit that 2 marking back into support right away. And the Friday close just under 2. So watch NAK above 2. Could get nice at 2 o'clock. USLV on a Friday close. Over support, back through the resistance, back into support, 2-bar pattern. Over the 34, back into support, nice little spike low. The 2-bar pattern isn't forming yet, but watch of the 13 back into the 8. Nice whipsaw. Back through resistance. Here. That little spike low was the key there. At all costs. Nice 2-bar reversals. Hecla mining. Bounced off of support into resistance, back into support. 2-bar pattern confirmed on the upside for tomorrow's open. Let's watch that. We got previous high breaks at 6, so a little bit of room. Excuse me. Flat top break at 555. Resistance. So it's got a ways to go to get outside that pattern, but it's been consolidating for a very long while. Steel. You can see the head and shoulders top. Had a nice accumulation here into resistance, back into support. It's building. Get across that 34 this week for steel. CLF. Working that cup and handle on the weekly. Up into resistance, back into support. Back and forth, back and forth. Let's see if we can't get this across the 34 as well as steel. Little uranium still on its lows there. at support. Looks like this one's being broken and rejected. I don't like the flat bottoms. Just head and shoulders, but watch for patterns to fail sometimes. Things get violent on the downside or when it breaks. When the pattern breaks, things get violent. Watch that flat bottom. It is closing at support. On a dime for a double bottom tomorrow. Let's see. Half a little Bitcoin for the enthusiast. Looks like it just, the spike high just went too far, too hard, and too fast. It did break previous highs for a second, but then came all the way back in. So if you bought it on previous breaks, you shouldn't be holding it because it came back in and it was the break. Now that it's coming back in, it's way extended over its average at 45 cents, so be careful. A sideways consolidation. But it does have a flat bottom of 134, so watch out below. Bitcoin, 4,600. I was looking for that head and shoulders top. Be careful, as we do have a left shoulder head, right shoulder coming in, but that didn't stop it. That left shoulder, right shoulder scenario. So what are we looking for is closing above the next previous highs at 447. Let's see what happens. Go out the left shoulder, which I was wanting to get over handily. Came back into support, flat top break, just blew it out. So that left shoulder, the right shoulder scenario is out the door. No more head and shoulders top. Anything could happen, but it looks like it just blew it out. So look for the next previous high breaks. Just a little two-step across 5 grand. Boom, boom. Ethereum. Ethereum had consolidating. Looking for Ethereum. Holonex had a 2-bar pattern on the weekly, and it's been consolidating since. Tracing Ethereum to the dollar, and we're in a pattern. So pretty much bouncing off the support, a little bit of resistance on the upside, but it's doing what it's told. At that pattern. Litecoin, low spike high. Litecoin for the US dollar is going to have to consolidate. It just ran too hard and fast. Now it's going to need to consolidate. Stay above support lines. Get above that 8, which are previous highs. Let's get above previous highs, get above that 8 for momentum. Stay above the 8, follow the trend. I've been throwing EOS a little there. Looks like I got a little spike low today. It's closing on its lows. It's killing me right now. Accumulating this. Got about 7 months before it becomes live. This EOS is supposed to be an Ethereum killer. I'm not sure about that, but that's what the word on the street is. Competitive to if you know Ethereum, everyone wants to be on the Ethereum blockchain so they can have all these ICOs. So it's going to be another want to be on it for data storage or whatever's going on. I'm not sure about what they have plans for, but it looks like I'm making a new low here. Lady, got 7 months before I get concerned. So it can go lower, I don't care. Dash, looks like it got rejected. It's taken off, so everything's coming down with it. The ratios are all getting straight up whacked. Okay. Which makes trading cryptos very hard. But it is in that consolidation. There's any kind of support up here to bounce. And I'm not sure why when Bitcoin's making new highs, cryptos, there's going to have to be a inflection point sometime when as Bitcoin goes up, all the cryptos are carried with it. Like Bitcoin's trend lifts all boats. But that hasn't been the case. These things are just being pummeled today. Let's take a look at Google. Google, going to take out that double top, I guess. Working that double top for a while. Closing on its highs. And with Google, with all the censorship going on, I wouldn't be surprised if Hui corporate buyback of cash, to buy countries. Well, let's see what Apple closed. Apple's got a lot more work to do. I got previous highs to close above, so it broke down. Now it's coming back into resistance. See if this gets rejected or if it just blows it out. Might as well. Everything else is being blown out. Let's just call it a day here. For the miners, looking for a great week. Looking for the dollar to come back in. S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ are all bullish. Look for those double tops on all three of those. Gold, we need to get above 13. Silver above 17 right away. See how fast we can do that. Copper, I'm not sure if it's done consolidating yet. Catch us in the morning for JNUG trading. See if we can't get this above 20. Other than that, let me know what's going on out there and stay away from fake news. I'll see ya.